Hey guys, it's Sekaar, and I've got a fun little throwback feeling MagDK build for you guys for the Scribes of Fate chapter. Before we get started, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. It is a genuine free way that y'all can support me. It's one click and it helps me out tremendously. But guys, I really like this build. It feels like old school MagDK. It's got the Inferno staff front bar, sword and board back bar, and I just really like the way it felt. It felt like I was just playing the old MagDK, and it was just a lot of fun to bring this back and to be able to try this. And honestly, it felt really nice. The damage was really strong on it, and I really felt like I was doing a lot of pressure to people. So guys, how about we just get started with the build? So first, we're going to look at our character sheet. We're going to be a Breton on our MagDK. Breton, in my opinion, is best in slot for MagDK. That reduced cost passive on all of your magic abilities is massive, and I just really recommend going Breton. If you don't have Breton, I recommend either High Elf for your overall damage, but Dark Elf would be really good as well. I think Dark Elf would probably be best, and Khajiit is just amazing for everything. Crit damage is so high and everything. So, but overall, I think Breton is best in slot. Moving on to our attributes, we're going to have 37 points into magic and 27 points into health to give us a max magic pool of 21.8k, a max health pool of 30.4k, and a max stand pool of 17.7k. Our Mundus is going to be the warrior to increase our weapon damage as much as possible. I still have people asking me in a lot of my videos why I'm using weapon damage over spell damage, because about a year ago in the game, they hybridized everything, so everything is based off of your higher weapon or spell damage. So on a lot of classes, it doesn't matter, but on DK, it does matter. You have a passive that gives you minor brutality for DK, so you can always build higher weapon damage. So that's why for DK, we're always building into weapon damage, never spell damage, always weapon damage. And then looking at it, we're also going to be using Jewels of Mizrael as our food. This is going to increase our max health by 3,900 and our stamina and magic recovery by 357 for 2 hours. I'm not using Orzorgas anymore because that's too expensive. So instead, we're using Jewels of Mizrael, and it is basically the exact same thing, just a lot cheaper. Also, we're going to be Vampire Stage 3 because Vampire Stage 3 gives you the Undeath passive, which is basically built-in pariah. The lower health you have, the tankier you are, so that's awesome. Moving on to our gear, our monster set is going to be Bloodspawn. We're going to be using a heavy helmet in the reinforced trait and a medium shoulder in the impen trait. Bloodspawn, as old as time, it's awesome. Best set, one of the best sets in the game for Dragonite. It's going to give you 1 line of stamina recovery, and then the 2-piece is when you take damage, you have a 6% chance to generate 13 ultimate and increase your physical and spell resistance by 3,700 for 5 seconds. So that's really good for your overall tankiness, and on top of that, your overall sustain, because DK is always built off of sustain. So Bloodspawn is just really the tale as old as time. I love it so much. Also, our chest piece is going to be Curse of the Fire in the reinforced trait in the heavy weight. So what fire does, because it's on all of my builds basically, is it gives you weapon and spell damage, a line of max stam, a line of crit chance, and then when you deal damage with a weapon, you deal an additional 2,300 flame damage, and that can occur once every 2 seconds. But since we're going to be using a weapon ability, that is also going to be proccing every 2 seconds on the dot left by our weapon ability. So it is a lot of overall pressure that you're just putting on at all times, and I really enjoy this. Also, we're going to be using Deja Trickery as our other set. It's going to be our back bar set. So we're going to be using a light sash in Impen. What Deja Trickery does is it's going to give you a line of max health, max stam, max magic. Then when you deal damage, you gain 1 of 5 random major buffs for 21 seconds. And it's going to be every 9 seconds that can occur. So it could be either major expedition, major protection, major mending, major heroism, or major vitality. So basically you're going to be either every 9 seconds, you're going to get a new one. So you're either going to be super fast, super tanky, super healy, or basically you're just going to get a lot of ult gen really quickly. So that's awesome for your overall tankiness, healing, sustain. I love it so much. Also, we're going to be using Gloves of Deja Trickery in light impen as well. Our feet are going to be light Deja Trickery in impen as well. And then our legs are going to be heavy fire in reinforced. Our jewelry is going to be all Ring of the Fire and Necklace of the Fire. 2 of them are they're all going to be in, 2 of them are going to be infused. One of your infused is going to be reduced reduced cost on your health, magic, and stamina abilities. That way it helps your sustain. And the other infused is going to be increased weapon and spell damage. And so that's just a great way to just increase your overall sustain for this one. And then this one is the best way to increase your overall damage and healing by having the infused trait. And then our other ring is going to be Bloodthirsty with a reduced health, magic, and stam cost on it. Bloodthirsty is a really good way to increase your overall damage. It doesn't really buff your healing at all, but it buffs your damage, and you kind of need that when you get to the lower health on the enemies with this, because it kind of counteracts your enemies' undeath passive. Also, our front bar weapon is going to be Master's Perfected Inferno Staff in the Nirnhone trait with an increased weapon and spell damage glyph on it as well. I decided to do Nirnhone because I am in Corrosive a lot, so I really didn't see the need to do Sharpened, and this is just a great way to increase your overall damage. So what this does is the Perfected line gives you an extra 103 weapon and spell damage, and then the 2-piece actually gives you reduces the cost of the Destructive Touch by 10%, so it's really good for your overall sustain. And then it also increases your weapon and spell damage by 600 for 4 seconds after activating. So leaving this ability, this is also going to give you a nice dot on your enemies, and that's going to be what's proccing your way to the fire too, so it increases your weapon and spell damage a lot, and then also proccing your way to the fire. That is huge for your overall damage. Also, our back bar weapons are going to be Sword and Shield, Daedric Trickery. Our sword is going to be Defending, and our shield is going to be Sturdy. Moving on to our skills, our main damage is going to be Molten Whip. So you're not going to want to hit this ability right away because this ability gets buffed by using Ardent Flame abilities. So once you're having 3 stacks of Seething Fury with your Ardent Flame abilities, you're going to get the strongest form of your whip. So wait until you have a 3 stack and then hit them with that. You're hitting like an absolute truck on this, especially in Corrosive. Also, Shattering Rocks, this is going to be your main CC on this build. You don't really have a CC on this besides your Leap on your front bar. And honestly, I don't use Leap that often, so Shattering Rocks is a great way to go for this. It is a great way to just keep you in control of the fight at all times. And you can just do a lot of damage by CCing somebody and then putting out some real damage with your other abilities. Also, Flames of Oblivion is going to be on our front bar as well. This is going to be a nice little combo for your damage. It's also going to be a stack of Seething Fury to hit him with Molten Whip. And on top of that, it's going to give you Major Prophecy and Savagery, increasing your weapon and spell crit by 2,600. Also, Flame Reach, this is going to be what's going to be proccing your Master's Inferno Staff, and it's also going to leave a dot on your enemies for 20 seconds. So that's going to be proccing Wave of the Fire 10 times if you just leave it on there, because it's every 2 seconds. So between the dot of Flame Reach and between the dot of Wave of the Fire, you're doing a lot of pressure with that. And then on top of that, we're also going to look at more dot pressure. We're going to be using Noxious Breath. It doesn't leave the highest dot damage, but it still does leave more dot damage, so it is pressure to enemies that, you know, are taking that pressure. But also on top of that, Noxious Breath gives you Major Breach, so it's going to reduce your enemy's physical and spell resistance by 6k. Also, we're going to be using Take Flight as our front bar ultimate. This is the cheaper morph of it. I kind of like it a lot. It just hits harder than the other morph, and really that's all that needs to be said. It's cheaper and it hits harder. What's not to love about it? Our back bar skills are going to be Igneous Weapon. This is going to be your source of Major Brutality and Sorcery, so it's going to increase your weapon and spell damage by 20% for 1.2 minutes. So that is a very long buff, and it is very easy to keep that buff up. Also, we're going to be using Race Against Time, so this is going to be your source of Major Expedition and Minor Force, so it's going to increase your movement speed by 30% and your critical damage by 10%. Also, you're going to be immune to snares and immobilizations for 4 seconds as well, so that is huge for your overall survivability. You're going to be able to kite a lot more, and you can get out of situations because of that. Also, Resolving Vigor, this is going to be your main 5-second heal over time. You put this on everything because this heal is too strong. And on top of that, you're going to get Minor Resolve, so it's going to increase your physical and spell resistance by 3k for 20 seconds. And then also, we're going to be using Coagulating Blood. This is going to be your main burst heal. So basically, when you're getting to low health, boom, hit this, back to full, easy. Also, volatile armor. This is going to be your source of major resolve. So this is going to increase your physical and spell resistance by 6k for 20 seconds. Also, it's going to leave a little bit of a dot on your enemies. It's really not a strong dot in the slightest. It's a very weak dot, to be honest. But all jokes aside, it's an extra little bit of source of damage, and I'll take that on any enemies. Any extra source of damage that I can get, huge. Also, corrosive on your back bar. This ability is phenomenal. It is the best ult in the game, in my opinion. It reduces your incoming damage to 3%, so that is absolutely massive. So you're going to be super tanky. You're also going to be doing poison damage in an AoE around you. But the most important part is you're going to be ignoring your enemy's physical and spell resistance by the entire time. So you're going to be super, super tanky. And honestly, it is so strong. The amount of damage that you can do while you're in corrosive, because you're just ignoring their enemy's resistance. So it's just so unbelievably strong. I love it so much. Also, our CP is going to be Master at Arms for our blue slottables, Ironclad, Deadly Aim, and Focus Mending. Our red slottables are going to be Pain's Refuge, Survival Instincts, Sustained by Suffering, and Celerity. And our green slottables, the only things that we really care about are Breakfall, Rationer, and Liquid Efficiency. But guys, that is the entire build. I really had fun on this little throwback build. It was just so different compared to all the other MagDKs that I've put together in the last few months, and I just really enjoyed it. I hope that you guys enjoyed it too. I really tried to put something together that was different, and yeah, I really did enjoy it. So guys, if you guys want to do me a few favors that are absolutely free and a free way to support me, please, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please just click that button. I know I've said it before, but I'll say it again, and I say it on every single video. Please do that, guys. I can't stress enough how much that means to me. Also, if you are subscribed, I did start up a second YouTube channel on my for just my Twitch VODs. You guys don't have to go and watch the VODs, I'm going to be honest with you guys, but I really want to get that number up on the amount of subs that we have on it, so please go subscribe to the other channel that we have. It would really mean the world to me. It's free. I will be having that link in the description, so please just go over, click that button, and click that subscribe button on the other channel as well. Please make sure you're subscribed. Even if you guys don't watch any of the videos, just having those subscribers means a lot to me, and it really helps me out tremendously. But guys, that is it from me. I really do appreciate you guys staying to the end of the video and watching. Let's just get on with the rest of the clips and the footage for this build.
You're directing your own movie, only keeping your favorite scenes. You post a smile on the silver screen. It's the fakest thing I've seen. You're directing your own movie, only keeping your favorite scenes. It's always sunny on the set, it seems. It's the fakest thing I've seen.
Reservoir Dogs, Kill Bill and a sequel. Thinking that you're smooth brother faker, but I see through you. I know your heart's dead like sand.